Are we live? We're live.
Paul, will you ever learn?
From the EVC, and I am John Curtis. The rail strike is depriving more people. Sorry, it's even driving more people. I'll start that one again. The rail strike is driving more people into polluting cars. Is this a catastrophe for our net zero ambitions? More on that story later. A consultation on a new plan for a clean air zone in Greater Manchester will be launched next year. Plans for a fee-paying zone to improve air quality were postponed in February to find a solution that was fairer to local businesses and residents. Councillors who approved the new draft plan this week want the zone to be charge-free and use the £120 million the government has agreed to give the city region to fund vehicle upgrades. The Local Democracy Reporting Service said the new CAZ, Clean Air Zone, plan was submitted for government approval this week. Guys, I'm joined today by the wonderful Sam Clark, the amazing Sarah Sloman, and Paul Kirby. And I just wonder, guys, a free clean air zone, free to use. Really? What do you think?
Well, I know that when we tried to implement one in Bristol, that being the Royalby, it was very challenging because it started to worry the small traders that would have to be fined to enter the city when their margins are so small. It didn't push them into an electric vehicle or a clean vehicle. It just penalised them even further. They weren't in a position to help. So I think it's got merit. It's still got the message. And I'm glad that it can't be branded as a money-making scheme, which is what errors have occurred before in other cities.
Anybody else? Sam, you're sitting in your zero-emission, beautiful Tesla with white leather interior. What do you think?
I think that Sarah knows better than all of us, to be honest, on this particular one.
Oh my God, can we just hit record? Can we just get that written down?
Recorded, you're in.
And what about UPK vans? How will that affect vans?
So, I mean, look, Manchester have been very, very confused about their clean air zone. They were almost there, and then they stopped, and then it's been a hit and miss. They do need to do something. The bottom line is air quality in the inner cities is not good enough. It's poor. It's affecting the health of people. They need to do something and do something quickly. And I think all this faff is unnecessary. I do not think that people should be penalised. But I also do think people should be incentivized to make good change. So I think actually, if they're going to spend the money on incentivizing positive change, that's good with me. Just get on with it.
Paul Kirby, all about the carrot, none about the stick. In charity news, Fleet Operations has launched a charity fundraising campaign to raise £20,000 to mark its 20th year of business. The company will be fundraising for 20 local and national causes, including Macmillan Cancer Support, British Heart Foundation and Dementia UK, with local causes including Douglas Macmillan Hospice in Stoke-on-Trent and the Peter Pan Centre in Newcastle-under-Lyme for children with special needs. The fundraising activities will include a fancy-dressed ascent of Snowdon, a charity football match and a walk around the world where every employee will collectively complete 49.8 million steps by the end of the year. Ross Jackson, founder and chief executive officer at Fleet Operations, said, all of our charities have been chosen by our employees, some for very personal reasons. Every penny will make a difference and change lives for the better. And that's what we're all about here at EVC, making a difference and changing lives for the better. Tell me, Paul, how have you changed lives and made a difference this week?
Oh man, well,
oh, look at that awkward start.
Well, I tell you what I do consistently, and that is give to a great charity called TLG, Transforming Lives for Good, which takes young kids that are really failing in school and on the verge of expulsion or have been expelled, and work with them to get them back into school and to give them a positive start. Knowing how I started in life and my school life, I think it's a critical time to intervene. So that's what I do on an ongoing basis. But I love the ambition here. A Fleet Operations Group. Dave Bushnell is a good friend of both EV Café and of Fleet in general. and Ross Jackson, a great leader there. So I think it's a great job that they're doing, and fantastic that the whole team of Fleet Operations Group are getting involved. Good work.
There'll be further updates from our correspondents in the field next week. Roles have been filled at Mer, Lookers, DriveTech and ADT. So in People News, we're looking at new big roles that have been filled by big shoes. Carl Anders has joined Mer's UK managing team as Managing Director. Anders will be responsible for scaling up its electric vehicle charging operations in the UK, Mer Charging UK based in London, and Mer Fleet Services based in Consett. Lookers have named John Paul, known as JP Jones, as its new head of talent acquisition, reporting to Chief People Officer Chris Whitaker. Jones has experience in talent attraction, don't we all dear, acquisition and employee branding. Lookers said, and joins from food manufacturer Arla Foods. The good news is there'll be a different newsreader next week who can actually read AutoQ. And finally, DriveTech, part of the AA, has appointed Anthony Marcoux as UK commercial consultant. Marcoux joins DriveTech with more than 12 years of experience in the fleet industry, mainly in fleet management roles, but more recently as a strategic relationship manager in the leasing sector. Now then, where are the UK's busiest chargers, Sarah Sloman?
Don't know. London? What? Ask Sam.
Did you
Paul.
not ask me that on purpose? You did, didn't you?
Oh,
Well,
not
no,
the busiest. Was it not the most popular, or was it the busiest?
So,
It's
busiest.
interesting question. Oh, was it busiest?
Well, it's
Where
the Motor
are-
Service Network, isn't
It's
it?
Rugby Services. It's
It was the most
the
popular.
Motor Rugby Services.
Yeah, exactly. Not busiest. That's what threw me. But yeah, the ones that you're talking about are GridServe doing rather well. Is that what you were going to say?
And
Yeah,
it is
well
busiest.
done.
It
So,
is busy.
it is-
It's based on
It's
busiest.
the busiest.
Yeah.
Right. GridServe's electric super hub at Moto Rugby tops the list of the busiest electric vehicle charging points in the country, which only opened in April last year. Located just off the M6, it has 12 high-powered charging devices which have both CCS and CHAdeMO connectors. Oh, cheeky. GridServe's electric super hub at Moto Exeter was the second most popular. Is this a GridServe success story, Sam? Think it is. 1 and 2.
And 5.
Sam.
Is it?
Earth calling
Sam.
Sam.
Oh my god,
frozen.
amazing. Sam's
Come in,
frozen.
Sam.
Brilliant.
Sam's
Sam is
frozen.
actually speechless.
He's counting.
Speechless.
Count.
One.
One most
two.
popular. Two most popular. Five most popular.
I just everything just went black as you were talking. I'm like, oh no.
That's how it feels when you've got to dial in for the car. Me last week.
Did
So,
you ask me a
GridServe
question at the
what-
end of that or not?
Yes, we did.
No, not.
We answered it
wondered
for
why
you.
you
Moving
were.
on.
We wondered why you were speechless because Moto have done so well with GridServe and the charging network. But anyway, in third place, MFG EV Power have come in with Newington, third in the rankings. London site's located next to the A201 between Elephant and Castle and Bermondsey, and it features 7 ultra-rapid chargers. Great to see such investment in quality kit and systems, and clearly systems for Sam in his car. And finally, the latest research from 360 Media Group has identified just how big a challenge workplace charging is. 70% of fleets expect to order workplace charging points during the year. 1/3 are doing this to charge their van fleets. 1/3 are doing this to charge vans, whilst 52% are enabling employees to charge their cars. Of those planning workplace charging points, 61% expect to fund the investment themselves, with 1/3 considering asset finance. And when it comes to the biggest barriers to installing workplace charge points, top of the list is the cost of charge points and their installation, followed by premises not being compatible and insufficient demand. Quite staggering, that finding.
Yeah, but it does back up what we just covered on the EV Café this week, which is the fact that you need consultancy. You've got to find out how best to approach the problem, because no matter what the problem, there's going to be a way. And workplace charging is essential if people don't have home chargers.
Sam, you're nodding wisely, sagely.
Yeah, Sarah's said it all right. There's no silver bullet to these things. We need lots of different charging solutions for different applications, including one for vans as well, Paul, which we haven't got any provision in the country for at the moment. So that needs to be sorted out as well.
Why is Sam being so nice today? I feel really, really off kilter. He said,
Hang on. we've
Friday.
got no provision for vans in the country. I think a lot of charge point operators would dispute that. There is
Well,
some.
Well, I don't know. There's a handful of places you can actually safely park a van and charge it at the same time. So that needs to be sorted out.
Yeah, I think Sam, that's unhelpful in terms of there is plenty of places, genuinely plenty of places that you can park a van safely. Yes, absolutely, and charge vehicles. Not least Braintree Forecourt, of course, but there are many others. I mean, there's a new one issued by Osprey that is in I don't know where, I forget. It's somewhere Banbury near Brackley.
Which is my precise point. It's like there's
and then there's another
tons.
one in Edinburgh, and there's there are numbers that you could completely safely park vans, and there are a number where you can park vans and they're not unsafe, but it's a little awkward. But to say that there is no charging infrastructure for vans,
but look, of the 15, 20,000 locations, you're talking about a handful. So, well, I'm trying to support you on the basis that we need to find more provision for more accessibility for commercial
I agree,
traffic.
but I think the van users of the UK are already using many of the charging points, and fleets are concerned that there are not enough, and I agree that there are not enough. But there are some, and there are plenty that can be used and are accessible. But it's important, this workplace, right? Workplace charging.
Yeah.
And workplace charging for vans. Again, another tricky challenge, but one being solved by a number of providers, not least MER, not least Vital EV Solutions, not least a number of other companies really working with fleets to mitigate the demand on the buildings and work out compatibility and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
it's
and
always good.
Workplace, of course, is both the front and the back of the building, right? So you've got commercial traffic at the back, and you've got whatever you're going to do in a car park at the front, and perhaps also overlap at certain times of the day as well. So yeah, all these.
And if you're super clever, you can use the front bit that doesn't get used during the day for the residents all around who also might not have home charging. So it's not just during the day; it's at night. You can balance out the demand on the load.
And bear that in mind. It's the weekend, and you can always use the front bit. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from them. This has been an EV Cafe production. Other sustainability news services are available, but they're not as fun as this. The EV Cafe news is regulated by Tucker from the AA and 15 Cups of Coffee. Any query regarding the accuracy of the news should be addressed to Big Oil. Until next Friday, from all of the guests, Sam, Sarah, Paul, and me, tatty bye.
Turn us off, Joe. Turn us off.